in a large kitchen garden, grew some corn for sale, and also kept a few horses and cows, and of course, chickens. The front yard was dirt. The bushes and other minimal landscaping had gone to seed. The front porch was sagging. And if that wasn't enough evidence for Robie that his ramrod-straight father no longer called this place home, 3 little shirtless black boys were running in circles in the front yard, while their 20-something mother in cut-off jean shorts and a white tank top hustled after them. The woman stopped running when Robie pulled up and got out of the car. The 3 children crowded next to their mother's broad hips and warily watched his approach, their eyes big as bottle caps.
"Can I help you?"
asked the woman, taking a step back and drawing her kids with her.
"My husband's right inside cleaning his gun,"
she added in the form of a clear warning.
"He just done him some hunting.
She added.
Killed him some things."
Robie looked over her shoulder. "I used to live here a long time ago. My father, Dan Robie, owned the place. How long have you been here?" She looked a bit confused, and then, as he expected, realization spread over her features.
"Robie? Dan Robie is your daddy?"
Robie nodded and again looked toward the house. "So, did you buy this place from him?"
We moved in 2 years ago, but we bought it from the Harpers. They headed on up to Chattanooga."
Robie nodded. "Okay, thanks." He turned and walked back to his car. The woman called after him.
"Your daddy done killed a man."
He turned back around. "So I heard." He drove off in a swirl of dust. In the rear view, he saw the woman hustle inside, no doubt to tell her hunter husband all about it. He headed back to Cantrell, thinking that he should have asked the woman if she knew where his father lived now, but he hadn't, so he would have to gain that information some other way. He could ask people in town. It was small enough that someone would know, but he didn't want to do that either. After Taggart and then the young mom, he had grown weary of seeing the looks on people's faces when he identified himself as the son of a murderer. Alleged murderer, he mentally corrected. He got back to the main street that cut Cantrell proper into 2 roughly equal halves and spied what he had earlier, an old phone booth. Through the dirty glass, he could see the phone book dangling on the end of a chain. He parked at the curb, stepped inside the booth, gripped the slender phone book, and flipped through its pages until he got to the right section. Dan Robie. He now lived at Willow Hall. The Willows, as everyone in Cantrell had always called it. Robie read through this line twice more to make sure he was seeing right. It wasn't a street name. It was the name of the house. He knew the place well. He had once dated a girl who lived there with her family. Laura Barksdale's father could trace his roots all the way back to when Mississippi was first settled. The Willows had once been a classic southern plantation, complete with an army of slaves. The Barksdales' ancestors had commanded Confederate troops in the Civil War. They had led citizens' councils to keep blacks in their place when the Civil Rights Movement came to Mississippi. They were prominent and wealthy, and now his father owned the place? He left the phone booth to find 2 black men staring at him from a few feet away. One was big and bulky, wearing faded jeans, white sneakers, and a gray t-shirt. The other man was smallish but wiry, with sculpted shoulders and thick forearms shown off because he had on a wife-beater along with baggy black corduroys. Robie nodded at them both and then started to walk past. "Will Robie?" said the bigger man. Robie turned to look at him. He was maybe 20, not even born when Robie had left this place. "Yeah." "You know my daddy?" "I don't know. Who's your daddy?" "Billy Falconer." The image of a huge teenager with enormous shoulders, beefy arms, and a hearty laugh, which he used often, seeped into Robie's brain. Robie said, "We were on the football team together. He was a hell of a left tackle. Protected my blind side really well. Y'all were state champs your senior year. Got yourselves a parade and everything. Daddy still talks about it." Billy Falconer must have had kids young, Robie calculated. Pretty much right after high school. But in Cantrell, that was not so unusual. There was no mad rush off to college for the high school graduates. There was only one sudden, panicked thought, really. Now what the hell do I do? He said, "It was a nice ride, good for the town. No team from here had ever beaten."